Brodes Media.
Wow, it feels lovely to get a victory, doesn't it? Before we talk about this great, luscious win, you know I love my cannabis. Phillies fans, game day is stressful enough. Parking, traffic, long lines, we've all been there. But when it comes to your cannabis, Camden Apothecary makes it easy. And they are only 5 minutes over the bridge. This is the dispensary for sports fans, just minutes outside of Philly with plenty of free parking. You'll be in and out fast, no hassle, no waiting, and they don't just care about convenience, ladies and gentlemen. Camden Apothecary is all about the guest experience. Their staff makes sure you feel taken care of every time you walk in. Plus, they carry only the best quality cannabis at the fairest prices. So whether you're stocking up for the tailgate, the watch party, you're celebrating a big win, you know you're getting the good stuff without overpaying. They even show love to the community with specials for fans, students, service members, and healthcare pros. Camden Apothecary, top quality cannabis, great prices, and an experience made for Philly fans 21 and up. Tell them Brodes sent you for 10% off. That's right, 10% off. Make sure you join the Camden Apothecary family today. Oh, thank you, Jalen Hurts. What a beautiful man. What a sexy quarterback. That was fucking awesome, what he just did in Minnesota. Which one was your favorite pass, Brodes? Oh, it's a great question. Thanks for asking. I know, that's why I asked it. 3rd and long to Smitty? Cute, but there's better. 3rd and 13, rolling to his right to A.J. Brown. It's pretty damn electric. Play action, under center. 79 to Smitty, while Isaiah Rodgers is getting pantsed and his jock strap somehow is in the rafters because that guy was a flat-out stiff all day long. That was pretty sweet, wasn't it? How about dropping it into a bucket to ice the game to AJ? Or the opening drive on 4th down, pointing his finger at AJ saying, yo, go that way. Bang! 7 rip. There's so many to choose from. Jalen was a dog. The AJ pass for his 2nd touchdown, there were 3 Minnesota jerseys in the vicinity. I can keep going. I got to make sure I'm done by, maybe like 6 o'clock for my daughters. If I kept going, this thing could be 9 hours if I just wanted to talk about how special QB1 is. So let's get more into everything here. Okay. Big picture. I called out Nick Sirianni on Friday, and I said, I'm looking at you, coach. You get your ass kicked, and you were out physicaled by a Giants team on Thursday Night Football for your 2nd straight loss. There are 0 fucking excuses. This team has to look sharp. They have to look detailed. They have to look willing to compete. They have to look like a team. They have to get a win and get off the damn schneid. You got to have a serious performance as a team. It started out that way. Then you got thrown those 3 and outs, which made me sick. Then the first half was ending, and Nick Sirianni quit on his guys. Straight up quit. Timeouts, time left on the clock. He said, let's just go to the room. There's no reason to attack and put our foot on the gas. No. Forget everything that Kevin Patullo has mentioned in weeks past about wanting to be the aggressor. Forget all that. I'm quitting on my guys. I'm going, are you serious? That was so disgusting. Through the actual middle of this game, I was nauseous as hell, and I thought, here we go again. You have a meeting as a team, and the first time you touch a field after a meeting will tell you everything you need to know about them. Either there's something in that room or there's no spark and you threw all your best darts at the dartboard, but nothing connected. And at that point, you're screwed. You're toast. And that's what I was feeling and almost how I was projecting my show to go until I saw what Jalen did to put the team on his back. And I think there's a correlation with how the team sat down offensively and really discussed what they wanted their identity to be and how they were going to accomplish that goal. Why we saw under center play action passes, and why we even got a statement here from Lane Johnson after the game that said, we did different things on offense today. Big formations, stretched them out, under center, pointing out some things they did. What do you know? When you're less predictable, big plays can happen. Splashes can happen. And here's what I don't want to hear. But Brodes, don't you think Kevin Patullo doesn't put him under center because he can't? No. Fuck no. No. Fuck no. Jalen can do anything. Jalen is a serious threat and a beautiful thrower of the football. That guy was sensational, zipping it all around the field. So no, it's not because he can't. It's because we've been inept. We've been stupid, we've been silly, and we haven't been putting our team in the best position possible to succeed as an offense from a strategic standpoint. Now, sometimes, like we saw against the Giants, Jalen misses AJ. Jalen misses Devontae. He's a human being, but he is capable of making these throws at a consistent clip. There's been a lot of weird injuries going on with the line. Cam Jurgens now. Thoat is in there. It's out of whack. It's been a lot of injuries everywhere, really. Adoree Jackson went down. Ringo threw his hardest hit of the day, of the year, of his career, maybe even including his collegiate career, at his own guy, Ajomo. Saquon got banged up. Ojulari. We're so desperate now, we're waiting for Brandon Graham to help save the day, which is kind of disappointing because that's a lot. And he kind of rode out on the perfect sunset, having another Super Bowl victory, and now he's got 2 tricep injuries in one season and doesn't have a training camp, and we need it so badly that he's doing his best and doing whatever he can to help out, but it's just, I don't know, it seems like a lot. From a nostalgic standpoint, of course I'm pumped, and we all love BG, but from a is it really the right move standpoint, I do wonder. I do wonder. But anyway, there's been a lot going on. Injury-wise now, here's what you need. Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, Jalen, AJ, Smitty, and Smitty was so sick today, man. That's how you do it professionally. AJ causes a scene. Devontae just zips it and plays his game. Takes hard hits over the middle. Takes hard hits when he's over by the sidelines, and he doesn't even catch the ball, but he's still getting extra pads to the face and to the chin as he's laying out of bounds. It's just, he's a warrior. And for such a skinny dude, man, the guy just plays so much bigger than what he really is, or he just takes shots and it doesn't break him. While Carson Wentz takes a shot from Jalen Carter, and I swear to God, he probably had 75 ribs broken in that one tackle. Throws it at Jalen, son, he takes it to the house. Oh, my God. That was so electric. And then Carson's throwing bombs downfield that is so ill-advised and stupid decision-making. You take advantage of that. Carson showed just timidness, if that's even a word. He showed he panics, that intentional grounding. How about when he threw Addison out of bounds when Quinion was sitting in coverage in front of Addison? And Addison had a wide open touchdown. And because the throw sailed to the right, Addison got forced out of bounds. And you also had a throw that Carson missed in the flat, which would have been 7. And the next play, the ball got snapped over his head, and they had to live with a 59-yard field goal attempt. So Carson was just what Carson is, right? He's, but he's also a backup quarterback and has been for quite some time. And I guess he kind of gives you what a backup quarterback does, right? In a way, he kind of gives you a chance-ish on a backup quarterback level, but he's also going to probably shoot your team in the foot a billion times. I saw a shot of Justin Jefferson on the sidelines with all of his bling on after the game. He's fixing his earrings and whatnot. His face looked so disgusted and so aggravated, it wasn't even funny. I mean, I thought it was funny because I'm watching my football team win a damn game that was so necessary. They needed this win. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. They needed this win. And for the first time all year, I actually headed into a week saying, I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know what version of this football team we are going to witness play, so I could see us losing. Even to a backup in Carson Wentz, I could see us losing because I just didn't trust what the offense was. And realistically, it was another game where the first half, outside of one drive, the first half sucked again. It was another one of those where for the majority of the first half, it was bad. It was bad. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. He could not sustain drives. The running game still can't get going, but I guess this is what I'm really praying for. You open up that pass game, you can get explosive shots downfield, teams get scared of getting beat over the top, and these weapons are going to clearly flip the field within maybe a pass or two that they have to realize it. And once Jalen, AJ, Smitty keep connecting on this, they can't die by that because it's too quickly of an explosive play that they worry about the passing game, and then that maybe could open up the running game a little bit more, even with all of these injuries. But yeah, I mean, they got to figure out this whole injury thing, right? I mean, Landon Dickerson hasn't been healthy all year, and he's in and out, and Cam Jurgens now out, and Brett Thoat, and I don't think Brett Thoat can survive in this league, unfortunately, so there's some serious questions there, but they needed this in any way, shape, or form, and they needed the offense to give us a little bit of that cock tease. You know what I'm saying? That's why I need a little cock tease. I won't go into specifics, but when you're making love to the woman, you know what I'm saying? You can have it. You can have it. You can have it. Maybe not. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Yes, you can. How's that for an analogy? I love DraftKings, and I love the opportunity of making cash. All your favorite NBA players are back, baby. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. New customers bet just $5 and get 3 months of NBA League Pass. Plus, score $300 if your bet wins. Paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Brodes. That's code Brodes. Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass. Plus, get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. One thing I hated, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I did hate the 3rd and 5 where they ran the ball with Saquon Barkley and they eventually kind of settled for a field goal there that Jake Elliott missed. I hated the decision. With the way the passing game was going at that particular time, I just really thought it was a foolish idea to try and force the run there. And I know the other side of the coin is it's 3rd and 5. You give it to your best playmaker's hands in a sense, and Saquon is obviously up there. I'm just saying, yes, you can make the argument AJ and Devontae were cooking so much that were they your best playmakers on this particular night? And the answer to that is yes as well. But I guess if you are on 3rd and 5, you get it to 4th and 1, you can run the tush push, and then you can keep the drive going. But I look at it as at 3rd and 5, because of the way you were having so much success with the rhythm Jalen was in, and with his ability to see the field and to execute at such a high level right then and there, feel the vibe, feel the momentum, feel the game. You kind of settled for a field goal there-ish. It was almost you were 50-50. You could understand going for it if you got it to 4th and manageable, but if we had to kick the field goal, we'd be okay with it. You deserved to miss that field goal. I wasn't even mad at Jake Elliott in that particular instance. I was mad because the plan was so flawed and so soft that the football gods were telling you, yo, Kevin Patullo, yo, Nick Sirianni, Stop being softer than baby shit and figure out how to be a man. You don't deserve 3 points. And I wanted the football gods to say that. Not really, but you get my point. So to finish off this day, you take a look at the box score and you see our guy, Jalen Hurts, 19 of 23, 326 yards, no interceptions, 3 tutties, a 158.3 rating. Is that good? Smitty, 183, 9 receptions, 11 targets. His longest was 79. You think A.J. Brown's aggravated because he only had 6 targets? He had 121. He had something to say to the camera when he was in the end zone. Oh, man. Hey, shout out Cooper DeJean on Justin Jefferson in the end zone, though, knocking that ball out. And did I think Hawkinson's touchdown was too close to overturn? Probably. Did the ball hit the ground and did it roll up into his breadbasket a little bit? I think if I was the referee who could come down with the decision, I'd say whatever was called on the field is going to stay. But I guess that doesn't really matter. All right, with that, why don't we take some of your phone calls and go to the Anytime Hotline? Let's start things off with our guy, Sean.
For all the Jalen Hurts bashers, he shut some people up today. He was the best player on the field. He was the reason the Eagles won this game. I mean, we look at throws and all, but I thought the biggest play was the third, and I think it was 15 to A.J. Brown, where he got loose and kept the play alive and made the throw. There's still a lot of things with this team that need work. I think it is imperative for Howie Roseman to work the phones this week, call the Dolphins, see if you can get, some defensive linemen in here that can rush the passer. And as for Brandon Graham, usually I'm not on board with a 36, 37-year-old player, but in this case, I'm all for it. I think not only this defense needs a spark, they need some leadership. And right now, simply put, we need bodies. We're a mass unit after this game. This week leading up to the Giants game, I think is going to be real interesting.
No, I think you're absolutely right about that Brandon Graham point. I was just strictly thinking from an actual on-the-field football product standpoint, but when you dial it back, I'll take as much veteran leadership as humanly possible just based off of what has transpired to this point. Now, this was an outstanding response by the team. A.J. Brown was met by the media before they went to Minnesota, and they asked about what the vibes were like in the locker room, and he said something along the lines of, you feel it in here, no? You see it in here, no? It looks normal, doesn't it? And it did. And it made me feel better because I've seen A.J. Brown make things messier whenever he speaks, so I'll take that without a doubt. But ultimately, it came down to what was happening on the field. Because if he made those remarks and then he had 2 receptions for 15 yards, then I'd imagine you'd see him frustrated, throwing a tablet on the sidelines, getting in somebody's face, or leaning back on the bench with this face of, I don't give a shit about anybody here, and I'm pissed off again. That wasn't the case. And I do appreciate that. So we're in a better spot than we were a week and a half ago. But I'll take any veteran leadership that I can get, especially one that has already handled such a unique relationship that Jalen and AJ is. That's a very interesting, weird, dicey type of duo. It just is, whether you want to admit it or not. I mean, going from best friends to we're just a working relationship now, and their relationship on the field is so important to a successful team or not. It's just a strange dynamic. But BG has already been in the middle of it and worked around it and seen it close hand and personal, that the more of those guys around during a second season of maybe discourse, I co-sign. That was a really long way to say, boy, I'd appreciate BG's veteran presence when a team loses 2 straight games, gets off the schneid, and then maybe you just have another guy to lean on. But I don't know how much he's actually going to give you from a sack perspective. And they need guys badly. It's crazy when you see these numbers. You know, Uche gets one and you freak out and you realize since a Zadarius Smith left and an Ojulari got dinged up, but you look at how many guys actually register a sack and how many guys are actually productive getting to the quarterback. We have nothing. It's actually amazing that our defense can do the things that they do at times. Now, they're leaking oil, okay? They could get gashed in the run game. You could target Ringo or Adoree Jackson. There are problems there. But it's pretty remarkable with how ugly some of those problems are and how non-existent that pass rush is, that you can still make the plays that you do. They got holes there, though. But I also feel it's not as if Vic Fangio, and this is the difference between the offense and the defense, I think Vic Fangio is doing the best with what he has. Whereas the offense, when they're not in full effect and when they're not hitting their stride, it's not because Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni don't have the capability with their personnel. They're just flat out stiffs during that respected time we're talking about. They weren't as stiffs today, not as much. Play action under center. I mean, it's not Sheil Kapadia put out a tweet saying, and I want to get it exactly correct for you, but essentially, this hasn't happened. Play action under center. You haven't seen a connection with this Eagles team ever until today. Here's the tweet. Jalen Hurts' 79-yard touchdown to Devontae Smith came under center with play action. According to True Media Sports, the Eagles had 0 passing yards on an under center play action in the first 6 weeks of the season. Ever! That's malpractice. That is coaching malpractice. It really is. It's almost impossible for that to be true. More from Sheil Kapadia. Jalen Hurts is 15 for 17. This was during the game. On 3rd and 5 in a 5-point game, Eagles hand it off, lose a yard, miss a field goal. That was during the 3rd and 5 I hated. Based on EPA per pass play, second best game of Jalen Hurts' career in the passing game. That's the second best game by any quarterback against Brian Flores in the last 3 seasons. More stats for you? Why not? Justin Jefferson, next-gen stats, while covered by Quinion. 1 catch, 10 yards, 3 targets. Damn. This is fun. It's a lot better than when you lose games. Eagles running back. On the Jalen Hurts doubters, a perfect passing rating? Like, what are we talking about? It's amazing. Jalen Hurts says Devontae Smith was in everybody's ear on the sidelines to call that play action shot that he scored. He was chirping about it and it ended up getting called. Great feel by him, great execution, and great call by KP to get it. I do think it's funny whenever they go out of their way over and over again to mention KP. Make sure KP gets some love. Hey, KP, good job, bud. Hey, KP, good job, KP. It's almost like they're adding him into the group, even though he wasn't. Just saying. Lane Johnson declined to talk to the media after the game. He didn't want a repeat of last game when his comments about the Eagles' offense being predictable became headline news. He said he didn't want to break up the team. No more, he said. Listen, I don't care what they do. I just want them to win. I don't care how they handle it. I don't care what routes they take. I don't care if someone like Lane Johnson feels some of his words maybe hurt things and made things noisier. And that's what I respect from the Lane Johnson front. And maybe AJ picked up on this too, because AJ, as I mentioned, before they went to Minnesota, said everything's good here. And now Lane Johnson saying, I don't want to speak because when I say something about our offense not doing its job, it made it tougher for us. Whether it's true or not, what happens is we analyze my comments, my thoughts, my concerns, and then it only makes it more tense and more hostile in the NovaCare complex when we're trying to get this right together. I prefer not making it harder. And that's why I never understood the AJ thing. Every time he tweets, every time he quote tweets, every time he puts this out, puts that out, no matter if there's truth to why you feel that way, it makes it more difficult as a team. And if your purpose is to get this team correct, why make it harder? That's all. And it seems like they're figuring that out and maybe taking my criticism and applying it. What do you know? It's like I know a thing or two. I definitely know a thing or two about my cigars, baby. Emilio Cigars. Old school roots, new school attitude, locally owned. Made at Fabrica Oveja Negra in Nicaragua. These cigars, when I tell you the best cigar to ever touch my lips, when I tell you Emilio Cigars are the only cigar to smoke, it's perfect for any single event. Playing golf with the boys? Boom. Party with the family, aunts, uncles, cousins? Boom. Yourself hanging out in the backyard? You name it. There's no such thing as a bad place to sit down and to light up an Emilio cigar. So do me a favor. If you are a cigar smoker, you could click their link down below in the description. You see all the options that they have available for you, and there are plenty there. You can utilize promo code BRODES10 for 10% off your purchase. It's a no-brainer. So far, all the listeners that went out of their way to get them, thank you all so much. I greatly support it. I greatly appreciate you supporting. And the amount of responses that I've gotten, emails and some messages online, just saying, Brodes, thank you. I've enjoyed Emilio Cigars so much that I'm just in awe. And they're tremendous. And I can't see myself ever smoking another cigar again. And it's really cool. It's really cool to see that. So, thank you guys so much if you have purchased them, and make sure you join the Emilio Cigar family today if you haven't already. Okay, let's go to Carmen next on the Anytime Hotline.
Dude, it shouldn't take until like week 7 until the pass game opening up, but I'll gladly take it. This is the game that we needed, man. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, the ball sailing deep down the field to them, bro. That was a sight, dude, that I missed. And shout out to the part of my family that are Vikings fans, man, because you know what? They got a full Carson Wentz experience today. And I'm glad that we got to see it. For myself, it was pleasure. Pain on their end. But regardless, man, I will gladly take this victory, man. We need it after the past 2 weeks. Victory Bowl time. Let's go, Birds.
Oh, there is nothing like a Victory Bowl. Let me tell you something. And that kind of goes perfectly hand in hand with my good friends over at Camden Apothecary. Just saying, we love our cannabis. But it is nice to have this feeling again. And for Jalen to do it in that way, I was a little afraid that they were going to squeak out with a win. And I'm a win is a win guy. But if it was a win is a win and it was hideous and it was such a garbage game, they'd be 5-2, and it would go against a lot of my philosophy, which is you got to appreciate being grindy and being gritty and winning at such a high clip, and it's rare to do it to the level that this quarterback and this team does it, and you know that whole thing that we talk about. But there needed to be style points involved, because September football, especially weeks 1 and week 2, I think then it's easier to sell. They'll be growing together. It'll take steps in the right direction. But if it's just gross, 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 and then the next week comes and it's gross, 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 and the next week comes and it's gross, 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 and it's constant gross nonstop, it's supposed to show signs of improvement. It's supposed to be a playbook that in September might be more vanilla and maybe a little bit cleaner and just a little more bland because it's sloppy football and nobody plays preseason. But as you get to week 7, week 8, week 9, week 10, there's supposed to be development that actually looks like a real serious NFC contender. And if this week it was another vomit fest, then at some point I'm not going to accept those wins the same way. A win is a win, and I take a lot of pride in wins. And even if they're greasy and if they're on the road and it's snapping a losing streak and you stop the bleeding, and all those variables are very true that I wouldn't rule out being meaningful. but it needed to look a certain type of way too. Style points at some point do matter because there's a sniff test, there's an eye test, there's a test involved each week, and it's been so up and down, so inconsistent. We've seen flashes like the second half against the Rams, but even when the passing game has had moments, and even when the team has had a half of football that clicked, this was the first time it clicked to this elite look, to this dynamic of a passing game, to this style. Before, you got it to AJ and he would out-muscle someone, and then he'd run for 30 yards after he caught a 50-50 ball and all, but this was more like real sustainable looking offense, more nuances involved in the offense, getting under center, using play action. It just had a different feel to it. So hopefully they use this and they can grow. Hopefully they understand that teams might be more aware of some of the play action stuff, but then you need to add wrinkles to it, and you can't be satisfied to what you got today. You have to now add layers to it. I hope they know that. We'll see what they do. But it was a huge statement made by Jalen. I'm seeing a lot of the Jalen Hurts haters who were flexing their muscles after that loss to the Giants because he missed a couple of throws, saying, "I told you so, he's a bum," to saying that was one of the greatest performances of Jalen Hurts' career. You know what's funny? So far this year, just off the top of my head, there have been a few halves where there have been people who has hated Jalen in this town say, "Wow, that was one of the best halves Jalen's ever had. Well, that was the best half Jalen's ever had. Now this game, wow, that was one of the best games he's ever had." And I'm going, well, hold on. You bash this guy so much. Yet whenever he's at his sharpest, this season alone, which, by the way, for some reason, you're forgetting they won 40-6 in the Super Bowl. You're forgetting about his performance in the Super Bowl loss. You're forgetting about his performance in the NFC Championship game against the Commanders. I could keep going on and on and on. My point is this. He's got a million of these, and it feels like whenever he plays super great, even though it's just a half this season, prior to this game, that was the best. That was the best. Well, that was the best half I've ever seen in this game. Wow, look at that QBR. Look at that rating. This is the best he's done against Brian Flores in totality as a league. The best the league, someone in the league has ever done against Brian Flores in the last 3 years. The best, the best, the best. It's weird that it could be the best. Yet you don't believe in the kid. Yet you think he's too limited. He's not too limited. It works. It's a different style than all the other quarterbacks. But I don't care what style it is. I just care if it's executed properly, does it win a Super Bowl? And the answer isn't even debatable. The answer's fuck yes. And with that, we'll shut it down. You guys are the best. I love you so much. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. Feels good to have another victory, baby. Go Birds.